Hey guys, just got another Miniterrain video here. I'm just going to do a tutorial on how to make these autumn bases here. These autumn bases like this. Get the rocks and everything. So I have this blank one. I have this one with a rock in it. The rock is made out of a piece of cork that I just roughed up. So we'll just get to it. The first thing we need to do is add some sand to our base. Just gonna put some PVA on here. Get a brush. Spread your PVA around. Come in with your sand. See my sand there? I'm just dipping it in the top here. Making sure I get full coverage. And then we got like that. We'll just let it dry and we'll come back and we'll paint. So our glue's dry, and I'm just going to come in with the snake bite leather here and give it a full base coat. Just going to stipple it in for some of the loose rocks don't get pulled up. And I get into all the cracks and crevices between the rocks. Some of it's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. I'll leave it for a little bit while the glue and the paint dry, and then it'll get a good solid top to it. Just come in, snake bite leather, fully done. And when you cover that whole guy up, it looks like that, or it look like this guy when he's dry. And I'm just going to come in with my Adeptus Battle Gray and put a base coat on my rock. Should get that done now. So get my rock over here. Adeptus Battle Gray foundation paint. Just get it on. Doesn't really matter if we get it a little bit on the other parts. Hope I'm still on camera here. And then we'll just come back and dry brush the rock up with a couple of colors of gray and then a final highlight of white. Get that guy like that. Okay, I'll be back when things dry. So I've let my two bases dry here, and I'm just going to come in with Griffin Sepia and wash the rocks here. Make sure they're on the camera. I'm just going to dip this Griffin Sepia all over the place. And I come in finally after this dries with an overbrush of bleached bone, and it will give a nice effect. Then we'll come in with our foliage. It's just like that. Get this one. And we'll let these dry and we'll come back and we'll overbrush. The two bases aren't completely dry yet, but I'm able to come in and dry brush my rock up. So I got my Codex Gray here, and I got my Citadel dry brush out, and I'm just going to come in and dry brush the rock up here. You can see. I'm just going to come in and get the edges. The other rocks in the team are pretty light, so I'll work it up a little bit here. A little bit more of an overbrush than a dry brush right now. Making sure to leave the darker parts around the bottom and in the shadows of the rock. And get the top where the sun is going to hit the most. Just a little bit more. Just come in with a heavy overbrush, just kind of stippling it on to the top. Okay, set that down a sec here. Wipe off my dry brush for a second. Come in with my Fortress Gray right there. And we'll dry brush up from the Fortress Gray, or from the Codex Gray to the Fortress Gray. Just trying to get the top edges really right now on the top here. Being sparse, rocks are shaded all over the place very differently. I'm just going to come in with a heavy overbrush and pick out this area of the rock a little bit more. You can see that color variation there. And since I did an overbrush, I'm going to wait about 5 minutes here, let it dry, and I'm going to come back in and give it a highlight of white. So my rock is dry. I'm just going to come in with my final highlight of Skull White. And this is just going to be a very sparse highlight to just catch the edges of the rocks. A little bit more. Whenever you're happy with it, your rock is done. So I set my other base aside to dry for a little bit because the rocks need a little bit more time to dry. But I can come and show you how to finish off the overbrushing on this guy. So the last last step of painting will be to come in and overbrush with bleached bone. So I have my same dry brush, some of the paint off, and come in and give a sparse overbrush. Pick up a lot of these. Little rocks on the ground. It doesn't matter if some of the areas are screwed up because we will be coming in and putting a little bit of foliage on there. So, just like that. You can see the different color variations. And I'm going to come in and quickly clean up the edge with black. So I came in with Chaos Black and cleaned up the edge. I'm just going to let it dry and let my other one dry, and I'll come back when I have them both caught up to the same stage, and we'll put the foliage on. So the bases have set and dried now, and I'm going to come in with my 3 autumn products. I have 2 Scenic Express Silpho products. One of them is this buffalo grass tufts that comes on this sheet. You just pull off the grass tufts and glue them on. And the other one is autumn weeds. They stand a little bit high and have some foliage on the top. And then from another company, I got autumn leaves from Skullcrafts, if you can see in there. So we're just going to come in with toothpicks and place those on with tweezers. So I'm just going to place on these different pieces of foliage. Just got a cup of glue here, and I'm just going to use the back of this paintbrush. Grab off any specific grass tuft, so I just have a little grass tuft there. You can focus. And place a little bit of glue with your back of your paintbrush on that guy. Little piece of glue. Take your base, anywhere on your base. I have an open spot here, so I'm going to place that grass tuft on the open spot. I'm going to take my tweezers. I have tweezers here. I'm just going to apply some pressure. My finger's a little bit too big. And then you have a grass tuft. Hopefully I stayed on for that whole thing. So there's a grass tuft. We're just with the grass tufts right now. And put a second grass tuft on that base. I'll grab off a smaller one here. Just another little dab of glue. Somewhere on the base, maybe right next to this rock. I'm just kind of placing it there for now, right there. And I'm going to come in with my tweezers again and apply pressure to it for it sticks in there. That rock's moving a little bit, so I'm going to come in, grab it out with my tweezers. Stick some glue on it. I'm going to give them a final seal. It'll stick in better, but we'll stick that guy back in there. Some glue. Okay, we'll move on to the next base here. This panel has side grass tufts, if you can see, that are really nice to stick on the side of the base next to a rock. So I'm going to come in with my toothpick here, grab a little bit of the PVA, get the base, and see we have this little bit of an undercut here. So just put a little bit of glue right there. I'll come in with my grass, stick my grass in there, see how it's kind of sitting out. If you get your tweezers, you can just kind of fiddle it into place. I'm going to try to get it underneath, for the grass is coming out from underneath there. And all the glue will dry clear, so everything's good. Then you have grass coming out there. You can see the grass on the side. Okay, so I'm just going to continue that method. Add a few more tufts in here. Still on camera there. Just put a dab of glue there. I'll come in on this edge. A little bit more glue. A dab of glue there. And then I'll find two appropriate grass tufts. Here's a nice big side one. Place that guy in there. Come with my tweezers again. Make sure he really gets in there nicely with the glue. Really, it sticks really nicely when you stick it with your tweezers. And a little bit smaller tuft, if I can find one on the side here. Guess this one will do. It's a little bit bigger. Let's come in. And we'll wrap it around the corner here. So the bigger part down there. Grab it, press it there. I'm going to grab a little bit of it with my tweezers and apply it around the corner there. It's grabbing in the glue. staying on camera right here. And there, I have grass tufts on my base. So I'm going to put that product aside. I'm going to come in with the weeds. I'll put a nice big one there. So we'll come in, get our dab of glue in the back of our paintbrush, find one of these nice weed tufts that come out, decent sized one. This one I'll do. Apply some glue to the back of your tuft. So I have glue in the back of my tuft. I'm going to stick it on the base where I want it. And I'm going to come in with my tweezers again and just force it into the place I really want it. You can come into the middle of it and ready to place. Some of the leaves might fall off if you got this product, but that's really okay. There's enough on there. So then you have a leafy tuft that kind of hides the rock there. So that's enough foliage on that guy. And we'll come in and put, if we can find some smaller ones here. Oh, here's a smaller one. Oh! It's actually a little bit bigger than small, but it's hard to find the smaller tufts. So I'm going to come in on this base and just place it back here. Kind of back off the base a little bit to give room for the miniature. Just one tuft is good on both these bases. You can do two if you want, but I'm going to come in with the last product there. So I get my fingers out of there. You have some tufts and a little bit of weeds that have leaves on the top of the tuft. So the last thing I'm going to come in with, get my cup here, I'll just tap out a little bit of these leaves so I can see different ones. And then I'm going to put my paintbrush aside here. Oh shit. And I'm going to take my toothpick and just place a few little daubs of glue. Do one there, one right beside it. Just two little daubs of glue there. Come with my tweezers and pick up one of these individual leaves. You can see I have an individual leaf there. And I just place it however I want it on the base and just apply a little bit of pressure to it and it'll stick. So I'm going to try to find a nice little yellow one. Nice yellow one. Place it on the base, a little bit of pressure, and then you have two leaves sitting on the edge of your base. I'm just going to come in the back here and put a third leaf dot sitting inside this guy right there. There's purple leaves too, so I'm going to grab a purple leaf if I can. Grab that purple leaf, turn my base a little bit, place it in there, tweeze it into place. I'm not opening the tweezers, I'm just pushing them. Oh, flew away. And then you have that purple one if you can see it. So that's my finished autumn base. I'll just come in and seal them. I'll come back in a sec when I'm done the leaves on the rock. So I've finished up putting the leaves on the rock base. Just a couple of leaves everywhere on the rock in different places. And I'll set them aside to dry. And the last thing I'll do is I'll come in, I'll seal them with a 50-50 mix of water glue. And the last thing I'll do is I'll come with my Army Painter matte coat, clear varnish, and give them a final spray before I put my miniatures on them. So that's doing an autumn base from start to finish. Thanks for watching.